Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Normal is broken, common sense is weird, so we're here to help you transform your life. From the Ramsey Network and the Fairwinds Credit Union studio, this is The Ramsey Show. I'm John Delony, joined by Jade Warshaw, taking your calls live. Let's go out to Fort Myers, Florida, and talk to Martha. What's up, Martha?
Yes, hi.
How we doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You got it. What's going on?
Okay, so I've been watching your show for many years, but just recently, me and my husband, we're kind of fed up with the way we've been living, and we are trying to make a lot of changes. And it just seems like we're being thrown curveballs now that we're trying to get our lives on track with money. Everything's coming up. I mean, there's a lot of things coming up, but one thing that's staring us in the face right now is our septic tank. It's failing. Yeah, and it's backing up, and we're having a lot of issues trying to make sure that we're, providing a sanitary area for our kids to live. We have 5 kids, and my husband is the only one currently working full-time, and I'm trying to find odd jobs, to cover some credit card debt that we have. But I got a job at a hospital, and I'm starting my orientation in August, but I need money now.
Yeah.
And we don't know what to do with the septic tank. We're actually... I'm ashamed to say we're about $100,000 in debt, and we only make $136,000 a year. So we are up to our ears with debt, and we just don't know what to do about this septic tank. It makes us sick thinking that we need to maybe get into more debt to cover this, but we don't know what else to do.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, is it not an issue where you can pay somebody $400 or $500 to pump it and get you to limp along until for a few months?
That's what we did back in March.
Okay.
We noticed that it was backing up, so we got that pumped out, and then it's been only about 4 months, and we got it pumped out again today.
Okay.
And it's failing, so we don't know what else we can do. It's going to cost up to it can be from $10,000 to $18,000.
Yeah, I mean,
on the situation.
I've gotten quotes on septic, like to replace them. I had one up to $60,000 because they're gonna have to go through rock uphill. I mean, there's a whole thing. So yeah, it can be expensive.
Let's see. When you pump the tank, it gets you like 2 more months. Is that what you're saying? 2 to 3 months?
Yeah. So it was March, April, May, June.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got you 4 months. I'd rather you spend $400 every 4 months until y'all can get up the cash than to go backwards. But I'll let Jade walk you through the dollars and cents because y'all got a mess on your hands.
Yeah, and it does. By the way, I just want to acknowledge that this is normal. This is a normal thing people face when you start working a plan and you say, I'm going to get serious about it. It's almost like the universe says, prove it.
Well, it's everything, right?
All these things start happening.
I'm going to start eating healthy. And then someone's like, hey, we just made you a cake. We're going to drop it off at your house. That's just life. Right?
Exactly. So don't, this is not abnormal. You're not alone in that. So what I want to find out is there any money anywhere that we can utilize? So do you guys have vehicles? Tell me about the $100,000 in debt and tell me more.
Okay, so we bought a house. When we bought it was about 35 years old, and nothing was renovated on this house. So we thought we were going to update this house as we live in it and as we grow. We had 3 kids when we moved into it. Now we have 5 kids. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. So it feels small, but we're trying to make it as homey as possible. But our house.
So is the $100,000? Is that a HELOC on upgrading, or what's the $100,000 of debt?
Okay. So during COVID, we were backed up on our mortgage, and we were behind $10,000. So that's on the mortgage. If we sell the house, we have to make sure we cover that. But we're not paying that monthly. Our most debt, I would say, is cars. We have a big Chevy Suburban car that we're paying about $45,000. We still have $45,000 on it that we owe, but we can only sell it for $20,000.
Who said that?
It's a huge Kelly Blue Book.
On private sale?
On private sale, probably $25,000. It has a lot of miles. It's a lot of miles on the car.
Any negative equity in there? Or that's just...
We had a van and we rolled it into the new loan.
Okay.
Because we had a circumstance with family.
What about the other
we
Suburban?
needed to lose our car.
So what you're going to find is that as I ask you questions, if you give me an excuse on why you did it, I'm going to cut you off because we got to get past that. It doesn't matter, right?
And I get it. And we did it and it was like we didn't think it through. But we do love the car. It fits our whole family. And
right,
more.
But
it's a great vehicle.
You probably can't afford it, and we'll figure out if we can get you out of it. But you said, so the Suburban, what's the other vehicle?
It's a small Toyota that my husband uses to travel to and from work. It's he owes 17 on it.
And what's it worth?
It probably is exactly what it is. 17.
Okay.
I didn't check it.
Okay, good. And then from there, anything else notable? Is student loans, credit cards?
I have a student loan of $6,000 that I've been paying like monthly on, but just $6,000 on it. I'm going currently back to school, trying to get a technician job certificate, and that's $3,000 that I'm paying monthly on, and has 0 interest every month. And then we just have a bunch of credit cards. We have a $15,000 credit card when we were doing home renovations, so we're paying that off.
Okay. And I didn't ask you this, but what do you bring home every month? Like when you guys get your paychecks, what's it total to?
About $8,000. My husband is currently working full time, and I'm trying to get back into the workforce after being home with my daughter.
Okay.
But you said you make 136.
Feels a little.
Yes.
So 8 seems pretty low to me.
Maybe I miscalculated, but we were
that
putting
feels
away
about right.
for.
Are y'all putting into retirement too?
Yeah, but currently we stopped doing that because we're not keeping up with our payments.
Okay.
Good. Now, how much is the mortgage?
Currently our mortgage is $1,550, and that's really good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that's excellent for where you're at. Okay, so I think there's some money in these cars that is going to help you not only pay off your debt quicker, but solve the septic tank issue. Do you have any money saved? I didn't ask. I'm guessing no.
No. Every time we try to save money, like something comes up. Like either we have to, our battery died last week on one of the vehicles, so we had to pay $200. I mean, and that's all we had in the savings.
So some of this is,
so, we're trying to do a lot.
Yeah. Some of this is emergency, and some of it's just better planning. So we do need to be planning for maintenance. I mean, one of the things with cars is they need batteries every so often. They need tires every so often. They need oil changes. So let's get in the habit of starting to think ahead a little bit more. And I know it. You've got 5 kids and a husband. You got a lot going on. But I think starting to learn to look forward in the budget, if you're not using every dollar, will make sure to get you that. But John, I think there's some money in the $17,000 vehicle, getting that out of your hair.
That car goes today. And by the way, I was a dean of students at a law school in a $3,000 truck, and I did 2 years on this show driving an old used Prius. You should have seen me pull that Prius up next to Dave Ramsey's Raptor. Right? And we had a lot of bickering back and forth. Your husband's going to be fine, but y'all need that $17,000 margin today. So that car gets sold this week. Okay?
Okay.
And then we're going to just we're going to stack up as many thousands as we can. He can drive a $3,000 beater. They're out there. My old Cadillac is worth $1,500 and it drives just fine. So they're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to start looking for that. Yeah, that might be something that we didn't even consider. We thought.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of planning.
Hey, George Camel here. A few years ago, someone stole my identity. And let me tell you, that is not a quick fix. It takes hours on the phone, piles of paperwork, and a whole lot of stress trying to untangle the mess. And even after that, there's this nagging paranoia because your information is already out there. And the truth is, you can do all the right things and still become a victim. That's how common identity theft is. And that's why I'm glad I had Xander's identity theft protection. When my identity was stolen, their team stepped in right away. They were monitoring my information and caught the issue, and their US-based recovery specialists helped handle the calls, the paperwork, the cleanup, so I didn't have to do it all on my own. Xander also includes up to $2 million in stolen funds and expense reimbursement, and with the family plan, your kids are covered for free. You work too hard to let identity theft steal your time, your money, and your peace of mind. So go to Xandr.com to enroll today or call 800-356-4282.
All right, we're back. So, Jade, I talked too much in that last segment, and
I think I did.
We didn't get Martha, the outline of a plan. And so she's still on the line here. I want to make sure we get her an outline of a plan. So she got $100,000 in debt. They make $136,000, but it's credit cards, it's 2 giant car payments, and now they got septic issues. The one thing I heard throughout that call was, yeah, but here's why we have this debt. And yeah, here's why we have this debt. And there's a story and there's an emotion in it. The only time I've seen people be successful in just saying enough is enough, we're going to take back ownership of our home and our money, is I don't care why it happened. Here we are, and I don't give a crap. Come what may, we're never borrowing money again moving forward.
Yeah, it's not about what you did. It's about what you did next. And you're so right. The first 2 things that she's got to do is, to your point, decide she's never going to borrow money again. The people that walk the Ramsey plan, that is the line in the sand that they draw. Otherwise, it's all for naught. Like, what are we even doing here? Second thing she needs is a budget. Christian is going to hook her up with every dollar. You need that. That's the basis of the plan. More tactical into her numbers is we've got to sell the $17,000 Toyota or whatever that was. That's going to leave them with no car, but also no car payment. And so just before we do that, you should be able to, within a pay period, stack up $2,000 that we're going to do to buy a car in cash. A beater, like I said before the break, my old car, it was a Cadillac SRX. It had 200,000 miles on it. It's worth $1,500. Somebody's going to buy that for $1,500.
I might buy that.
You might buy it.
It's a fancy looking car. It looks nice,
absolutely.
dude.
Listen, I might give it to her. I might. It's just sitting in the driveway. Maybe I will. So that's thing one. Sorry, I'm really thinking about giving her that car. That's thing one. The next thing is, why don't you take over? Because my brain is really thinking about that right now.
The next step is we have to start listing these debts out in smallest to largest, and you got this old mortgage, back pay hanging out there. You got all these credit cards out there. You've even upside down 20 grand on this car that you just had to have that we love.
You might be able to go to the credit union and get a loan for that difference. And if you are willing to hold on private sale for a little bit more than $25,000, that could be worth it for you. Run the numbers out, because maybe not. If you say, okay, I'm going to get a $30,000 loan, that means you're $15,000 less in debt is the way to look at it. Because that means I'm paying off the $25,000 and I'm buying a $5,000 van used. That's what that looks like.
And people will talk about you when you drive down the road in these cars.
Yes.
And what we're suggesting is, I don't care what other people think. As for me and my house, we're going to choose freedom.
Yeah. And the only way that works, by the way, is if you have a better interest rate. That if your interest rate is cruddy because your credit is bad, I don't know that I would do that. I might just write it out. But look into that, because that might be the key to set you free.
Yeah. All right. Let's go out to Louisville, Kentucky, and talk to Whitney. Hey, Whitney, what's up?
Hi, John and Jade.
How are
you
you
today? I'm good.
What's up?
So my question is, my son is starting college in August, and as a parent that wants him to learn from being an adult before he actually gets out on his own, I wonder how much or when I should start charging him rent to live at home, because he is going to stay at home to go to a cheaper college. And he's going to try not to take out any student loans, so he is going to be cash flowing in scholarships.
Oh, I have a hot take on this one.
Tuition.
I might have one too. Okay. I want to hear John's hot take.
My hot take is, if I have a 16-year-old, he's heading into his junior year of high school. 2 years from now, if he says, hey, I have a small scholarship at a local college, I want to go there, I want to cash flow it, but I'm not going to be able to afford room and board, I would invest in him and let him live at my house for as long as he was in school, full-time, enrolled, also working a part-time job, and he kept his grades up. I wouldn't, I'm way more concerned about the young people who graduate and then just kind of aimlessly wander back to mom and dad's house. I don't even mind folks who graduate and they're starting a new job and they want to get ahead. And so mom and dad and this young adult sit down and they come up with a plan for 6 months or a year with no rent. I got no problem with that. It's the unintentionality, the aimlessness that I struggle with. If I'm you, Whitney, and Jade, I wouldn't charge my kid rent because it sounds like he's trying to do this the right way, and this is a way you can invest in him moving forward. But that's my thought on it.
I 100% agree with what John said. When you said it, Whitney, my first question was going to be, tell me about your financial situation, because if you're not careful, even unbeknownst to yourself, you could end up kind of, for lack of a better word, cashing in on this for your own needs.
Yeah, do you need the money?
Right. So I'm a baby step one, and I do work 3 jobs. I work really hard to try to make sure that, I'm as gazelle intense as I have time for. So I don't feel like that I need it. I just don't want him to miss out on the learning experience of paying rent. He doesn't have a car payment. He saved up and he bought a car, and then it broke down. At that point, he was planning on going to IU Indy, which would have been away from home. And at that point, he realized, oh, wait, stuff is expensive. And so he was like, hey, are you okay if I stay at home? And that way I don't have to pay like room and board, and then he can eat at home and have meals and stuff like that. And so I feel like he's on the right path, and I don't want to charge him, but also I don't want to rob him of that learning experience of doing his budget every month and knowing that at some point he will have to pay a rent or a mortgage.
You could split the difference. I mean, you could not charge him rent, but say you still have to have a budget, which is if you are bringing in money, you've got to plan out for how you're going to spend that money, which I do think is a valuable tool. And maybe he does kick in some for groceries.
Yeah. And yeah, he can buy his own milk and cereal or whatever. Are you a single mom?
I am.
Okay. I need you to hear me say this. How you're handling this and how the action steps he has already taken when life threw him little bits of adversity, like a car broke down and he started looking at the room and board cost. And he also has this underlying principle in his heart and mind that I don't want to owe anybody any money. I want you to hear me say directly, he's learning from you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
He's watching his mom scratch and claw and grind it through. And so part of changing your family tree is maybe investing in him. And you don't have the cash to do that right now. You're digging yourself out of the hole you found yourself in. But just that little gap of you can stay in this room. And I love the idea of every month you're going to sit down and you're going to go over family expenses together. And I want you to learn how this house runs and how expensive things are, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, maybe after a sophomore year, he can kick in the light bill or the water bill or whatever. But I think you're doing a great job. I don't think this kid has any notion that life comes with a free ride at all.
Plus, he asked you, what do you think if I stayed home? It wasn't just like this entitlement of, I'll just stay home and sit on the couch, right?
Yeah, my mom heart was definitely like, yes, he's going to stay at home. I was like looking forward to, moving day, moving him away.
Aww.
So I'm pretty excited that he's staying home, even though, we pretty much see each other in passing. And even when we do, I'm like, I have to force him to hug me. Sometimes he's like, Mom.
Okay, so I want you to draw up a lease. And that lease might say you have to have dinner with me once a week or every Sunday. And you get to do the laundry in the house. Like, start to think, if you're working 3 jobs, if you had the ability to hire a 5-hour-a-week personal assistant, what would you have them do?
Okay.
Your job is the air filters and make sure all the light bulbs are changed every month and make sure that, the trash is taken out. Take some of those things off your plate, and he can start to learn how a household runs underneath it all. But as for me in my house, I would just support him doing that.
Yeah, I think so, too. So not such a hot take, more like a room temp.
Room temp take, yeah, reasonable take. I'm so torn right now, Jade, as my son's talking about colleges. I'm like, you could just stay here. But I know he's got to go. But I'm like, you could just stay forever and ever and ever.
A lot of banks are happy to hold your money, but Fairwinds Credit Union helps you make progress. Most people spend years focusing on their financial goals and never stop to ask whether their bank is helping them get there or just holding on to their money. The real goal is building an emergency fund, paying cash for your next car, saving for a home, looking at your finances and actually feeling some peace. That's why I love Fairwinds. Their Smart Bundle gives you up to 10 free high-yield savings accounts to help you stay organized as you save for different goals. Plus, early direct deposit and no monthly fees. And you get support from real people who want to help you win with money. You can even get the Ramsey Debt is Normal, Be Weird debit card, which is linked to your free Fairwinds Spend Smart checking account to tell the world you think differently about money. So look, if you're working the baby steps, your bank should be helping you move toward financial freedom, not just park your cash. Go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey to open your Smart Bundle and start making progress today. That's fairwinds.org/Ramsey. Insured by the NCUA.
If you're working the baby steps, the best and fastest way to do it is by using EveryDollar. It's more than just our budgeting app. It's an app with a plan for walking out the baby steps built in it. You can track your progress, plus get personalized recommendations and coaching for your situation that will help you free up more money every week and every month and every year and work the plan even faster. It's like having one of us walking alongside you every day, showing you the next right step and holding you accountable. Start EveryDollar for free by downloading it in the App Store or on Google Play. Let's go out to South Bend, Indiana, and talk to Rick. What up, Rick?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? We're doing great, man. How about you?
Well, I guess if I was doing great, I wouldn't be calling. But I just
well
have a quick
played. That's
question,
fair. That's fair. What's going on?
It's all good. So I guess I've been listening for a few months, and I hear some of these really intense saving goals when you're in step 2 and earlier. I guess you'd say I'm in 3B/456. No debt, saving for a house. My wife and I are in our mid-30s. We've never owned a home, and we live in Indiana now, but we'd like to move east to the D.C. region, which is much more expensive someday. And I guess I just love some perspective on what is the right setting for saving per month to make this happen.
I love that question. So tell me right now, what are you doing? How much are you putting towards the down payment, and how much are you investing?
Yeah, so we're both doing 15% 401k through work. We take home $5,800 every 2 weeks combined between the two of us, so around $11.5k a month.
Okay.
And so of that, right now we're targeting $3,000 for the house, and then $450 or so for $529 for our son, who turns 2 in a couple months.
$450
we want to have
a month?
For the $529, yeah.
Good.
But we keep chafing kind of against it, and I'm wondering, is that just because that number is really high and we should keep fighting for it, shoot for the moon, you land amongst the stars, or should we try to pull back somewhere else?
450 is a lot.
I feel like that's kind of a lot. And also, it all depends on how quick the problem we're solving for is how quickly do we want this home? So I think that's the guiding principle here. I agree with John. 450 is a lot. I mean, it depends on how long you plan on doing that. What's your target amount? All of those questions I would ask. But I think first things first is making sure we're not focused in the wrong area. And I really do think the house needs to kind of wag the tail here.
Let me ask you this, dude. You talked about some of the people you listen to on the show. And some people are very aggressive. Once you don't owe anybody any money, we're talking about building wealth so that when you get in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, and 90s, and maybe even beyond, by the time we all get there, that because you were diligent when you were younger, you're able to take care of yourself and your family in those years, right? As my buddy Arthur Brooks says, we way over index our 20s and 30s and we forget about our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? So the question that people have to ask themselves after they're out of debt is, what kind of life do I want to have? And I want you to own a home so that nobody can come in there and take it away from you. So that come what may, me and my family have a house. We have a place that we can put a flag out in front of. I want you to have some retirement savings. I want you guys to have some fun too. I want your kid to be able to go to school, whatever that looks like. I don't know if he's going to have some college robot teaching your child. Like who knows, right? But the question you and your wife have to ask yourself is, what kind of life do we want? And I'll tell you, there starts to get some variance in there. In my house, I have, I'll call it pathological, a psychological problem with owing people money. I don't sleep. It keeps me up. I spin out all the time. And so for me and my wife, there was, I'll call it a panic on my part. She's like a walking Xanax for me. And so it was much more intentional on her part. But we focused on getting a house and getting a smaller house than we could have qualified for from a mortgage standpoint, and we got it paid off as quickly as we could so that I could have some peace, because I was solving for peace, right? And so you and your wife asking each other, what kind of life do we want to create together? And then you're talking just math problems at that point.
Yeah. And let's run out some of those numbers. Let's run out the math that plays next to what John is saying. So if you say, hey, we're going to get a house in the area, what's that cost you? What's that look like? Dollars wise.
So in DC, I mean, it's the county that I grew up in Maryland. I mean, you can't sneeze in there without spending half a $1,000,000. I mean, it's gotten crazy expensive.
Yeah.
So like looking out, you can find $400,000-$500,000 if you're willing to drive a little bit to work. Some of these details are kind of hard to forecast because there's career changes involved in making this happen, right?
Sure.
But
hold on,
Rick, let me call this out. You and I were told a lie. You and I were told if we just go to school or we just get a good job, and if we get a good ride or die spouse, that we can live wherever we want. We can quote unquote follow our passions at this work job thing, and it would all work out. And that's not true. The truth is, you, me, Jade, our families, everyone listening to this has to make uncomfortable choices. Do you want to go back and live where you grew up, where you were raised? You have this picture of your head of the perfect childhood. That's amazing. Here's the math problem associated with that. And if that math problem costs you the life you want to have, going out to dinner, going to concerts, being silly, like buying your kid the nice basketball shoes if they makes the team, like those kind of things, then we're going to have to be sad and grieve the fact that we can't do everything that what we want because the world didn't hand itself to us. You get what I'm saying?
I hear that, and part of our calculus for trying to move out there is we're basically alone here in terms of we have we obviously have a son.
Sure.
We want another child, and we don't have really any help out here.
I totally.
Be around family. I get that.
I can get that.
Yeah.
Well, let's put our heads around the numbers, and then that'll help you make the choice on this. Because if you say, "Hey, we're in baby step 3 right now," you guys are investing 15%, and you're saving $3,000 a month. But if I plug in, and I'm just on the Ramsey mortgage calculator, you said in the DC area it's around $500,000, so $500,000. If I plug in current 15-year fixed rate interest rate, 5.9, let's say you get that. And I know this is in the future, so this is napkin math, okay? But in order for that to be a fair portion, 25% of your $11,500 income, that mortgage with everything all built in, HOAs, home insurance, taxes, insurance, it can really be no more than $2,700 a month, $2,900 on the highest, right? So if I am solving for that, you're going to have to put down at least $230,000 to $240,000. Right now, we're saving at a rate of $36,000 a year. So taking that data, we can say, okay, if we want to do this, if we're serious about doing this in the next, 3 to 4 years, we've got to be serious about saving more. So I would be okay with you backing down the 15% that you're investing for the next 3 years even. I wouldn't surpass 3 years because I don't want you to miss out on time in the market. But do you see what I'm doing there?
Yeah, I really hadn't thought to touch that. And we do have about $55,000 towards this in a specific account.
Good.
And then I do have $125,000 in a managed brokerage that I'm hoping not to touch.
You're burying the lead.
Oh, you're there. Start with that next time you call. You have it. Y'all are a year away.
For that. Look, Ask Ramsey told me to try to avoid touching it.
I get
that. Hey, don't let that become generational and see if you can get there without it.
It's just in the brokerage. It's not retirement.
I thought that was weird. It's not brokerage. Sorry, it is not retirement.
Yeah. As long as it's non-retirement money, I totally would be interested in touching that for this reason, because this is owning a home is a major part of building wealth. And so for that reason, it's not like we're sacrificing wealth building in that way.
Did you put in there, I want to buy a house and I put down 15% in retirement and...
This thing knows my life story.
Well, then that's a glitch in the matrix that I got to get with the team and we got to get that fixed. Because, if you said, hey, I have this money in a brokerage account, I'd say, don't touch it if you can avoid it. But if you want to buy a house, that's what that money's for. That's exactly what that money's for.
Yeah. So if you pulled back even for a year and made that 36,000, I don't know, 50,000, you're there in 2 years.
Right.
As a dad of young kids, I'm starting to think a lot more about the world they're growing up in and how I'll help them make sense of it as they get older. And that's why I like World Watch, a video news service for preteens and teens. Because one thing I know for sure, if you don't teach your kids how to understand the world, somebody else will. And these days, that could be TikTok, YouTube, Instagram influencers, or whoever happens to show up in their social media feed. World Watch's 10-minute videos help young people understand what's happening in the world through a Christian worldview without all the outrage, negativity, and noise that is everywhere these days. The reporting is factual, engaging, and designed specifically for preteens and teens. And World Watch creates opportunities for something every family needs more of: meaningful conversations. Instead of just reacting to headlines, kids learn how to think about what's happening in the world, and parents get a chance to keep those conversations going at home. Because when my kids are old enough, I want them informed, not overwhelmed. And right now, you can get a 30-day free trial. Just go to worldwatch.news/Ramsey or use promo code Ramsey to get started. That's worldwatch.news/Ramsey.
All right, let's go out to Roanoke, Virginia, and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you guys?
We're doing great. How about you?
Good. I really appreciate you. I'm a big fan. The term "salt for peace" has changed my wife and I's view on finances.
It's awesome.
So thanks for doing that again.
You got it, brother.
Yep. So our question: my wife and I make about $200 to $250 a year, and we own 5 homes. They all have mortgages.
I thought you were solving for peace, dude. That's a lot of houses.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I'm calling you, bro.
Okay, gotcha.
So, our primary residence has $290 on the mortgage, and then our rentals have $91, $95, $125, and $139. We have $250,000 in cash. Do you snowball the rentals, or do you pay off your primary?
Well, I am interested in paying off the primary. I want to know what each of these, you told me what you owe. I'd love to know, can you go through and say what they're worth?
Sure. The 91's worth about $150. The 95's worth about $150. The 139's worth about $200, and the 125 is worth about $160.
And is there one of them that is a pain in the butt that you like? Tell me which ones that you're like, if I had to sell, it'd be these ones, and here's why.
Yep. So the 125 we would sell because it's an HOA. Made a lot of mistakes over my life. I'm a real estate professional, and we've narrowed it down to just single family homes. That's what we're good at. So the 91, the 95, and the 139 we're going to keep, but the 125 I would sell.
Okay. And so so there's 75 in equity there. Maybe when everything's all said and done, what do you think you'd take home?
On the 125, if we sold it, you'd probably only take $30,000 home.
Okay,
it's only worth
$30,000.
about $160.
Okay, and so that gets you, so with the cash, $250, that gets you pretty close to what you owe on the primary?
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. You'd be about $10,000 short.
Okay, so is that what we're trying to solve for, is just getting that primary paid off? Would that be enough for you and then cash flow and the rest to pay off?
We've went back and forth so many times doing this, my wife and I, on whether it's do you pay off your primary residence or do you pay off the rentals and leave and get better cash flow on them. So ultimately, they're all going to be paid off anyway. We're not buying any more until we get to that point. But you have this huge chunk of money right now.
Yeah, and let me tell you, nobody, my renters are not going to be living in a paid-off house while I live in a house with a mortgage. I can tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
my wife would appreciate that.
Yeah, like you guys are the ones working hard. All day, every day, I want my primary mortgage paid off. Here's why. And this is just life experience. Whenever the stuff hits the fan, right? When there's a diagnosis, when there's, not to say that there'll ever be a COVID ever again, but you know what I'm saying? When somebody loses their job, when things shift and change, the number one thing that people want to protect, John, is their house. That's the number one thing they look at is they go, oh my gosh, as long as my house is secure, I don't want anything to make me have to, give up my mortgage, no foreclosure, right? That's the scariest thing that we can imagine is the place where we lay our head to be in jeopardy. And so that's why I say what I say, which is take this cash and pay your house off first.
And do you have, I'm assuming you have a fully funded emergency fund, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
About 30 grand, just 6-7 months.
With the having 4 houses right now, hopefully you'll sell one of them and you'll have 4 houses left.
Yep.
I'm biased right now. I just need to tell you, I had a day a week ago where I got up before work. I took one vehicle with one of family members to one shop. I took another vehicle to another shop and had another family member drive me back. My primary air conditioner in my house went out.
Oof.
My well wasn't working, so the house had no water in it. And it all happened on the same day. And after I've unwound all of that, just let me tell you, it's very, very expensive. So you've got that times 3 or 4. And so your emergency fund, I would want to hang on to some more cash because you've got to, unless you've got retained earnings on each one of these rental houses, which I doubt you do. If the air conditioner goes out on these things, you got to pay for it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to the next point. Like, you paying off your first mortgage, that was thing one. But the next step that I would take, because I'm all with John on solving for peace, is now I'm looking at mortgage number 2, number 3, and number 5. And I'm going, okay, amongst these, is there one that I can sell to make good on the other properties? Because my goal would be to have as many of these paid for as possible, as quickly as possible, even if that means letting one go. Because again,
or two go.
We're cutting down on the risk. And I know what it is that you're trying to do, but you do have a lot of risk right now. So my question to you is really, how well are these cash flowing?
They break even at best, realistically. After the mortgage, you got to figure you set aside for your expenses, and we do have retained earnings for things like that happen in the business.
Yeah.
How much?
The only one, about 40 grand.
I just don't know that these are a success. I think they're just something you have.
Makes sense. The only one we are absolutely opposed to selling would be the one for $139. So ultimately, if tenants leave, it's more difficult to sell property with a tenant in it. If a tenant leaves, we're not opposed to selling the 91 or the 95 either.
I love that. I actually think that's really good. This is what came to my mind when you told me this. I bought a pair of jeans and they were expensive, but they didn't fit. I put on too much weight. And I didn't get rid of them because I spent over $100 on them and I felt like I needed to keep them, even though they're of no use to me. They don't make me feel better about my life. And every time I go in the closet, I'm like, come in, and that's the way these properties are. It's like you bought them. They're not cash flowing. They're a pain in the butt. They're keeping you from paying off your current mortgage. Just accept it and end it.
And you're one of me a week ago from having one air conditioner, a roof on another, and then somebody trip on a driveway. And this whole house of cards you built up is over.
Man.
Like you're in a mess. You know what I mean? And so going back to the solve for peace,
that makes sense.
Here's a fun, and again, like I'll tell you, my friends who are in the banking industry laugh at me because they tell me I'm too risk averse, whatever. They'll actually say, like, how do you stage dive off a stage at a punk rock show, but you won't even do right? So I'm risk averse on some things, but not on others. But here's the thing: I want you and your wife to just imagine you don't know anybody for your primary house. It's yours. You don't owe anybody on this one mortgage or maybe two on these other two houses. And you don't owe anybody anything. And so you're making $230, $240 a year, and 100% of that is your money, minus what the government takes. Is that going to give you the exhale that you're looking for in your own home? You get what I'm saying? Will that take the edge off the electricity of the angst of what about this, and did you get this, and hey, this guy called, and what? Is there just this notion of like, whew, we got peace in our house now? And some people like the electricity in their house, man. That's how they choose to live. And I'm not their guy, but good on them, dude. I got friends like that. But like you said when you first called, like as for me in my house, dude, I love owning properties. I've got properties. I like them, but I just don't want to worry about them.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying pay off the primary and then sell these as the tenants leave until you just no debt anymore.
And I would roll that equity. Jade, I'd probably baby step to these because these are big debts you have outstanding here. So I would sell what I could and reverse engineer it until I've paid off the remaining 3 or the remaining 2 or the remaining 1 if I have to. And then I would take that cash flow and start building them back up. You're not buying $600,000 properties. And so it would take you another year or a year and a half to save up another $150,000 to buy another one of these houses,
cash.
Right?
Yeah. So with the money that we have now, pay off the primary.
Yeah.
Then go back to the snowball.
Yep.
And sell them when they come up.
Yep. And I would go ahead and sell number 4 since you identified that right off the bat. I'd go ahead and do that as quickly as possible. Yeah. Pay off the primary. And then like you said, as those leases go up, knock them out one by one. Sell them off.
I appreciate y'all.
So I got to know who won, you or your wife?
Oh, we were on the same page. We both wanted to pay the house off.
Good.
Absolutely.
All right, good deal. Look at me and Jade bringing families together.
Look at this.
Usually, Jade, it's one or the other, but I like a united family every now and then.
This guy's a smart guy.
Yeah. Well, and what I love about him is he's really smart, and then he did all the smart things that smart people tell you you're supposed to do, and then he heard the message, what if I felt different, though? And if I'm doing all the right things, why doesn't my home feel more at peace? And he's going to solve for peace.
Hey guys, it's Rachel Cruz. If you're working the baby steps, every major expense deserves a second look. And healthcare is one of the biggest expenses in most families' budgets. And that is why I recommend that you check out Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM isn't insurance. It's a health cost-sharing ministry. That means members help pay one another's medical bills, and they've been serving Christians since 1981. CHM programs start at just $115 a month. And here's why that matters. If you are paying more than you need to for healthcare, that money could be going toward paying off debt, building your emergency fund, or reaching your next financial goal. And your monthly cost isn't based on your medical history or where you live. Y'all, a lot of families find CHM gives them more room in the budget. That's why so many members say they're better with CHM. And right now, new members can receive a 50% credit towards their first month of membership. Go to chministries.org/budget and use promo code Ramsey. That's chministries.org/budget and promo code Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio. I'm John Delony, joined by Jade Warshaw. Let's go out to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and talk to the great and powerful Laura. Hey, Laura, what's up?
Hi, guys. So my question is, I have 3 kids. We're currently in baby step number 2. We use the EveryDollar app, and we budget for what we call Adventure Day a couple of times a month. So our kids still get fun memories, just in a smaller, more intentional way while we're still paying off debt. And my question is about teaching contentment and financial responsibility at young ages. I have a 5-year-old who especially notices when his cousins get really big, extravagant gifts, and he doesn't understand why we don't do those things right now. He will be heading into kindergarten this fall, and he'll see even more kids with more experiences and things that he doesn't have. And so my question is, what are some age-appropriate conversations or ways that we can talk about money, comparison, and contentment so that he understands why we're choosing to be responsible and that he's not missing out while we still work on baby step number 2.
Okay, so I'm going to reframe a lot of this. Is that okay?
Yes.
So he is missing out. And contentment is a lifelong journey that I would never it's not developmentally appropriate for a 5-year-old to have the understanding of contentment and like innate joy when I've got used shoes and my cousin just showed up here with rocket shoes, right? And he is missing out because that kid's got rocket shoes and he doesn't. And so instead of trying to shift his, you should be feeling this way instead of what your body's telling you, sit with him in that frustration. Because you probably have friends and family members that have a nicer car or newer clothes, et cetera, and you know how that feels too. And so it's not about taking a 5-year-old and trying to disassociate them from their body, from their own feelings. It's showing your 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old, I'm not scared of your feelings and I'll sit in them with you. You get the difference there?
Yes. Yep.
And so a conversation we have a lot at our house is like when we go to Dave Ramsey's lake house. Dave has us all out once a year and we all go ride the jet skis and do all the wild stuff. And then we'll come home. And my son's was with us during the days when we were trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. But my daughter doesn't have that lived experience. And she's like, Dad, why don't we have a lake house? Can we get jet skis? And so we have the conversation like, as for our family, this is how we do life. And we're so blessed to have friends that have this cool stuff. And that doesn't mean that she doesn't want a lake house. And that doesn't mean that she doesn't think her dad's cheap and that, all this. She's allowed to have those thoughts. She's 10, right? But the conversation always comes back to, as for our family, here's what we do. And you have to be able to hold that space when your kid gets frustrated with you and they get mad at you. Why can't I have this? And why can't I have that? They're not going to understand complexities of budget when they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They will understand mom and dad hold firm and they still love me. You get that? Where I see most parents struggle here is it begins, like you want to be able to give your kid nice stuff, right? You want to be able to give your kid some of these things and then you start feeling less than. So it's you being able to hold your own, like, no, we're making the right decision for our family now and into the future.
Yes, I love that mindset shift.
But yeah, I always want to caution parents when kids have big feelings and when they get really sad, or really mad, or really frustrated, it's easy to treat them like an adult. Don't talk to me like that, or you shouldn't, whatever. And it's also easy to turn into a moral issue or a character issue. I like to look at it as a tools issue. This kid's feeling big kind of ways and they don't have the toolkit yet. So my job is to give them the tools. And that tool comes from, I'll sit right here with you. And by the way, not every behavior is acceptable. You can't talk to me like that. You can't throw things. You can't break things, but your feelings are fine. I'll sit here with you. And I'll tell you, man, Jade, I don't know I hate it. I hate it when my son or daughter's upset with me. I still don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's my job to sit in it with them.
I feel that, yes, I hate that feeling as well.
Yeah. Can I tell you I'm proud of you?
Oh, thank you.
For putting a stick in the, like just planting a flag in the ground and saying, as of now, we're going to weather this storm because the future is worth it. Y'all are worth it in the future.
And that's really the only tool that I have that I keep repeating. And I just feel like I keep repeating that and telling him not today, but someday we will get there.
Someday for a kid is abstract.
Yes.
It's why Christmas feels like 1,000 years for a 5-year-old and it feels like 30 minutes for me. I feel like I was just buying Christmas presents, right? And we're already entering into the fall season here, right? The summer's almost over.
Can I also float out there that part of this, though, kids want whatever it is that they don't have.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a money or a standard of living thing. My kids, I introduced them to original Nintendo because I had one in the attic. And I was like, I'm going to see if they like playing. They love it. It's so old. But they were already arguing about who got the controllers And it's not fair that he gets to play more, and it's unfair that, right? And it's an old game, but it's just because somebody else had it that now they want it. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's developmentally appropriate.
Yeah.
For young kids.
I think it probably has less to do with lifestyle than it does to do with it's just a thing I want and don't have. And I think because adults understand what money can get and not get, we make it more about lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so I would probably back off, not today, but one day, because you're confirming we're less than now, but one day we won't be less than. And maybe shift the conversation to, yeah, they got a cool 4-wheeler, and maybe when we get to go visit them, we can ride on that 4-wheeler. But our family, we like to go on walks, and we like to go fishing, or we like to do. I love how intentional you are with your kids. They're going to get special laser beam time from their mom and dad. I promise you, for their nervous system, for their brains, for their relationships down the road, you're putting in some major deposits in their relational bank accounts.
Yeah.
You still there?
Right. I'm still, yes. Thank you so much.
She was letting it marinate. Oh, she was letting it sink in.
Are you tearing up? Hey, we're on your team. I'm so proud of you. I can hardly even. I mean, it's amazing what you're doing for your family.
Thank you so much.
You betcha. Jade, I'm still haunted by that. Hey, Dad, can I have this? And it's like, nah.
Yeah.
And it's harder now. It's harder now that I could. And I'm choosing not to.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Because it's not a part of the value set, or it's because we don't need anything new, or I don't know.
I don't know. And I'm just going to say this just in the spirit of being old school, because I feel like I'm getting older and older. When I was a kid, we didn't get nearly this kind of treatment. It was just like my dad would just be like, we ain't got no money. And that was that. And we just adapted. So on the one hand, I get it. And on the other hand, I'm like, they'll be strong. Like, they'll be fine.
They'll be fine. Especially for parents in Baby Step 2, you can't buy them all the stuff. You can't buy them all the fancy birthday parties, whatever. But what Laura's doing, but I will give you a half a day of directed time.
That
if
alone.
I got it. It's magic.
Yes.
Magic. Way more important than any old plastic trinket you can buy.
As your business grows, everything becomes more complex. There was a time when Ramsey Solutions had too many disconnected systems and not enough visibility across the business. We wasted too much time chasing information instead of making decisions. That's why we got NetSuite. NetSuite brings your financials, inventory, CRM, and more together in one place. More than 43,000 businesses trust NetSuite, including Ramsey. And now they're taking the next step with NetSuite Next, making it easier to put AI to work across your entire business. NetSuite Next helps you make the most of your time, automating routine work like forecasting demand and following up on overdue accounts. With NetSuite Next, AI is built into everything you do, so you can ask it questions just like when you're talking to a member of your team. And right now, you can try NetSuite Next for free. If your revenue is at least 7 figures, go to netsuite.ai/Ramsey. That's netsuite.ai/Ramsey.
All right, let's go out to New Orleans, Louisiana, and talk to Desiree. Hey, Desiree, what's up?
Thank y'all so much for taking my call.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. What's going on?
So my husband and I need to get a new car, and we're debating between getting a $10,000 older vehicle or a $25,000 newer used car. We currently have, both would be paid for in cash, either option. We have another vehicle that has 130,000 miles on it, and my husband drives, he commutes for work, and so he puts about 27,000 miles on a car per year. And so I'm expecting the current car that we have to go out within the next 3 to 5 years.
Why?
And
Why?
so that's kind of where
You're talking to two people that drive their cars into the dirt.
Is it like a Ford Fusion or something?
No, I mean, it is a Toyota.
Is it a square Kia? A Toyota? It hasn't even started yet.
It is, but I guess I did the math, and I was just thinking, like, with it at 130,000,
no.
add...
That Toyota's going to last longer than y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, buckle up on that one. Do y'all have the cash to pay for it? Do y'all have an emergency fund?
We do, yes. So we have a $40,000 emergency fund outside of, so we have $28,000 saved in addition to our $40,000 emergency fund.
Good.
So what's
if we were to go,
y'all have
ahead.
the money, y'all have the cash. What do you? What's the congestion in your heart over this decision?
I guess we've always had a larger emergency fund, and so it bringing us down to like what I would consider our true emergency fund is
The 40,000.
and so yeah.
Understood.
And then if this car were to go out, or I don't know, something were to happen, I would have to actually pull from
Where else?
true emergency
Where
fund.
else? And this is the pot talking to the kettle here. Give me another thing, totally not money related, where you're anxious about a future thing happening.
Not money related.
Yep.
I don't know. I guess.
Are you a worrier?
No, I don't think so. I think it really just comes down to having the financial. We're not able to save as much as we used to. So, like, we have 2 kids now, and so we still save, but there are months where we don't. And I mean, we're budgeters,
but if you use some of this 40,000, it's going to take you a while to build it back up again, and you don't want to do that.
Yes,
I get it.
Yes, I think that's.
So if you solve for peace, which one do you want to have? Would you rather have a nicer car and less money in the bank account that you're just like, you snuggle in every night, you check your bank balance and you go, or would you, a crappier car in that, or not a crappier car, just an older used car, or do you want a newer used car?
I guess I don't look forward to, if we were to do a $10,000 vehicle that's like 10 years old. I don't look forward to like, hey, what's the are there any underlying issues with it that we're not able to see like at purchase price, rather than spending the money up front?
Let's look at a bigger picture of your money. So what do you guys bring home every month, and what do you bring home every year?
Yearly, we bring home $130,000, and then monthly we bring home $8,000 a month.
Okay.
Give or take.
So let's use this to kind of be our framework and how we think about this. So 2 things are true. We do have a framework for cars, things that go down in value, and we don't want any more than half of your annual take home to be tied up in cars. So for you, that's somewhere around 65,000, and you're nowhere near that. So that's thing 1. That kind of gives me a green checkbox that, okay, we're not breaking any rules of.
We're not being unwise.
We're not being unwise here. The second thing that I want to bring up is you've got 40,000 saved, which you yourself has said, like, that's 6 months of expenses. Like, that's a full emergency fund. Something that I find, and I want to call this out with you because I think it'll help the greater audience, is when we teach our 7 baby steps, the first 3, right? Get $1,000 saved, pay off all of your more consumer debt using the debt snowball, and save up 3 to 6 months. Those are intended to be extremely intense. We sacrifice everything. We give up what we want to do those things. But then once you cross that line, now we're going from intense to intentional. And the same way that you had to practice what it feels like to say no, to cut back, to change your habits. Once you cross over into baby steps 4, 5, and 6, you have to do those same things, only in the opposite direction. Now we have to practice, what does it feel like to actually enjoy my lifestyle in a responsible way, because I'm now a financially responsible adult? What does it feel like for me to know what my limits are and feel good about making that choice? And instead of doing the easy thing, because the easy thing to do is just avoid it and go, that feels weird, I'm just going to buy the thing that's less expensive. That's what I know to do, right? But that would not be really enjoying what you're working so hard for. So I actually, in your case, I would push you to enjoy the work in the money that you have. And I'd say, hey, you're no longer in this season of life where you have to drive the cheap hoopty. Not that 10,000 is cheap, but the less expensive hoopty that's got already has 100,000 miles on it. You've actually earned the right, and you have it in your margin to get the $25,000 car and feel really great about like, hey, this is the nicest thing I've ever bought. What about that?
Yeah.
And as a guy who has commuted in multiple different states, in multiple different jobs with used Toyotas, I like the idea of my wife and our 2 kids being in the $25,000 car. That's just me. I would like that.
How does that make you feel?
I think a relief.
Oh, yay.
I think just because I want to make sure that we're making, like what y'all said, a wise decision.
Yeah.
And so...
this is what it's
but
about.
We never purchased.
I got to tell you, like, this is what it's about. We get a bad rap around here for it's like we're cheap and you gotta live low forever. And I'm like, no, man, you gotta make the transition.
Well, yeah, I was just seeing that recently. It's kind of come out all over the place. Like Dave Ramsey's stupid because he wants you to sacrifice your whole life. You've never gone out with Dave. You've never had dinner with Dave. You've never been to a party with Dave.
Yeah.
Buckle up. You've never been out to dinner with Rachel. You've never been out to dinner with Jade.
Right.
Like, dude, the only person is George. He's the worst. But other than that, I mean, when you, the whole purpose of sacrificing like bananas in your first, second, third baby step is so you can finally have a real version of the life that you want. Right. And it's not unrestricted. Even Dave has to keep a budget. Right. But like, it's not unrestricted, but inside of that, dude, it's the best, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys have worked your butts off. Y'all saved a whole bunch of money. You got 2 young kids. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd get the nice car.
Yeah. And this is something I think we're saying this because I think we've all struggled with it to a degree because it's true. Your brain is in one form. Like you have to be a certain way to do baby steps 1, 2, and 3. And you have to do a complete, in many ways, an about face because in baby step 2, you have told yourself spending is bad. Spending is not good. Yeah. And then you have to train your brain to be like, you know what? All spending is not bad.
Yeah.
This spending is good.
Right.
This is fair. Like you've told yourself anything extra, we don't want it. And now you have to go back and say,
Desiree, let me call this out with you because you sound like me. Here's the deal. You know this about yourself. I know this about myself. If you went to the store and you and your husband bought a $10,000 car, you would get home and you'd immediately have regretful feelings. You know that. And if you go buy that $25,000 car, you're going to see your bank balance and you're going to have regretful feelings. So just knowing that no matter what I do, I'm going to have the little feeling monster inside of me be like, you should have, you should have. Just know that's coming and then say, gotcha. I got it. I feel it. I'm not even going to fight. I'm not even going to fight it. And then I'm going to go do the next right thing after that. And that's emotional maturity. I have this feeling and it's real. And then I'm going to go do the next right thing. And it's getting right back on the same plan. But yeah, all you people out there that think Ramsey followers live boring, awful lives, come to the Ramsey cruise, man. It gets wheels off.
I can tell you that I relate to that. I put off buying a new car for the longest. I said in the other segment, my Cadillac SRX, it's worth $1,500. It's got over 200,000 miles on it. And I just would not buy myself a new car.
I know. I talked to Sam. He's like, I don't know, man. She won't.
I won't. And then finally I did. And I'm like, what was I waiting for?
I saw you roll up in your new car and I was like, whoa.
They see me rolling.
Dude, for real.
They hate it. I'm just joking. But just do it. Enjoy when you can afford it.
Hey, George Camel here. Listen, if you've had your phone 2 or 3 years, your phone can now be unlocked. That means you can switch to Boost Mobile to get unlocked, bring your own device, and keep more of your money where it belongs. Look, the fat cats of Big Wireless, they are counting on you, just staying put and overpaying every single month. They want you to think switching is complicated, risky, or just not worth it. Meanwhile, your bill keeps climbing like it's training for a triathlon. But Boost Mobile makes switching simple and way less spendy. You bring your phone, keep your number, and get unlimited wireless for just $25 a month. Yeah, $25 a month. Not for 6 months, not for a promotional period, forever. And there's no contract, no hidden fees, and no, we changed your plan because we felt like it email. So if you're tired of overpaying for something you already own, this is your moment to save money. Go to boostmobile.com/Ramsey and get unlocked today. That's boostmobile.com/Ramsey.
$25 forever requires customers to remain active on Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Buying or selling your home is high stakes because one bad deal could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. You don't want to overpay for your next house or sell your current home for less than it's worth. That's why Ramsey Trusted connects you with vetted real estate agents who have the experience to guide you step by step to make smart decisions, not expensive mistakes. Connecting is easy. Just compare agent profiles, interview your top choices, and pick the person who's right for you. Find a local Ramsey Trusted agent who has your best interest at heart for free at RamseySolutions.com/agent, or click the link in the description if you are listening on YouTube or podcast. Let's go out to Eric in Chattanooga, Tennessee. What's up, Eric?
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it, brother. What's up?
My question is, my wife is currently making about $75K a year, and our household take-home pay is between $150 and $175 a year. We're actively saving to buy our first house, but she got accepted into a program to go back to school, which would require us taking about $80K out in student loans. But after her degree is done, she would be expected to triple her income. With our goal of buying a home, do you think taking $80K out in student loans is a smart decision, or would you recommend delaying school?
What's the program that's going to triple her salary, that she's going to be making $210 the day she graduates?
It's CRNA school. She's a nurse currently right now in RN.
Okay.
So it'd be a nursing assistant for, can't even think. Sorry, drawing a blank.
But there's data that shows that that's what her income will be right out of school.
Yes, ma'am.
How long?
It's a nurse of anesthesia.
How long's the? Yeah, I know CRNA is. How long's the program?
It's a 3-year program with a year of clinical in it. So she gets paid during that year, but it's very minimal what you make during that 1 year.
So is she going to be in school full time? So she's going to lose her $75 a year salary while she's doing this, or is she going to work and go to school full time?
No, she'll be in school full time. I'm making anywhere right now. I work in outage season with my job, so it's not completely guaranteed, but I make anywhere between 85 and 100. But it should go up to around 150 here soon. I just started.
So what I hear is, this is a decision about what do we want to do the most? Because I think you can do a lot of this over time, but something's going to take the first seat, right?
Yeah.
Right? You're either going to say, right now we're focusing on the house and we're going to, try to buy this house, or you're going to say, you know what, we're putting the house to the side and right now we're going to focus on her going to school. Because what's off the table, at least in my book, is debt. A student loan is 100% off the table here. So we have to figure out, are we going to cash flow and save up $80,000 to go towards education, or are we going to save up $80,000 to go towards a down payment on a house?
How much do you have saved for your house yet so far?
Well, we're 21 and 22. We just got married.
Okay.
A few months ago. So we really just started our jobs not too long ago. So right now I only have $20K saved.
Okay.
But I already bought, we built a mini house with cash without paying.
Okay.
That's what we're living in right now, about 600 square feet. We don't have any debt. We don't even have credit scores because we've never owned a credit card.
Okay,
I
so
love that.
So let me tell you this. I'm 25 years down the road from you, more than 25 years. Okay, and I understand what it would have been like talking to 21-year-old me. I was dumber than a box of hammers. You don't sound like that. You sound like you're way ahead of where I was at 21. Okay, so I'm pleading with my 21-year-old self here through you. Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
If you and your wife will just make a scratch and claw commitment for 36 months, 3 years, 36 months, make one of those construction paper chains that just has 36 months on it. And y'all will take that 20 grand you've got saved. Actually, you got emergency funds, so I'd hang on to that and cash flow this school. That's coming up with 26 grand a year. And that means you're going to have to really contract how y'all live, but you got a paid for tiny house. You're just living small.
Yeah.
At the age of 24, based on the numbers you gave me, y'all will be making 370 grand a year. You know what that will make you at 24? Rich.
Yes, sir.
You know what house you can buy? Whatever house you want. If you're 24 years old making $370,000 a year, you at 150 and her at 210. Or 360, I'm sorry, 360 grand a year. It's just going to take you deciding at this early part of your marriage, as for our household, we don't borrow money because we always want to be in control of our lives. And I'd rather us have tuna fish sandwiches for dinner and us have eggs, like breakfast for dinner for 3 years than to ever be beholden to somebody else. And I've worked, I want there to be good CRNAs out there in the world. I've got young kids, right? I want them to be out there in the world and licensed and credentialed. I want that. And I want them not owing anybody any money so that they can make the next right ethical choice and not be stuck between some machine because they got to pay their student loans off. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I guess my main question would be, and main concern, I completely understand what you're saying. And, my goal was to never really take out a debt besides my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
But CRNA school is very competitive, and she got in. I'm sure she can get in again, but I guess she's nervous about that too. Maybe what if they don't take her back in next time we want to apply? I'll let you know our monthly take home right now is about 13, and we spend about 3 a month.
Right. So why can't we cash flow it?
Cash flow it. Go.
If you're only spending, if you have 10K of margin every month, there's no reason that you can't cash flow this.
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Yeah, she shouldn't put it off. Plus, you got 20 in the bank. You already have this. You almost completely have the first year tuition in your bank account right now.
Yes.
And so that puts you basically a year up.
First year, I think we would possibly, because semester's coming up soon, and we possibly have to pull out a small loan. But
no,
I don't think you do. Why do you think that?
Well, let me think about this tuition. Got 20K right now. We're making about 10K.
And all you do is put it on a semester payment plan, and you pay them every month. For over the course of that month, they're going to charge you an extra $50 for that, and you cash flow it.
So put it on a payment plan?
Yeah, with the university. I'm not taking out a loan.
Yeah, I was just thinking about paying it up front for the. I understand what you're saying. Sorry,
if you can pay it up front, that's great.
Adulting can even work.
Oh no, you're doing a great job.
No, you're doing awesome, man. But here's the thing: if you take debt off the table, you'll figure it out. Is what I want to hear. I want you to hear me say. Right? If that's not an option, you're like, okay, you got in. We're gonna figure this out.
And if you had the stack of cash to just pay for the whole semester, that's fine. But what John was saying is making it more palatable so you can do it bite size every month with this 10K of margin that you have every single month.
And by the way, you have the first semester's tuition is going to be about 13 or 14 grand. You have that in your account right now. Plus, you'll have 6,000 left over. Write that first semester check. And then y'all start living September, October, November, December. Your Christmas is going to be different because y'all intentionally are sacrificing for a whole lifetime of winning. They can never take her CRNA license away from her. This is a good degree, dude.
I understand.
But you're in a position to do it and never owe anybody anything, which means if she gets pregnant year 2 and she looks at you and says, I don't want to be a nurse anymore, you're like, that's cool. We don't owe anybody any money.
The hard part about being 21 and 22 and having a lot of goals is you want to do them all at once.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm not doing them all at once, you almost feel like you're failing or you're just not achieving.
Well, and also feel you can get that loan and then you don't have to change your lifestyle. And I want people, if you're going to make an $8,000 investment like they're doing, that I totally support, it's going to come at a cost.
Absolutely.
Have that cost be now, not for the rest of your life. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Summer is a time when people escape. Whether it's relaxing or going on vacation, we've all been told this lie that if we could just escape from it all, everything will magically work itself out. But here's the thing. A vacation won't fix what you won't face. If you're anxious, if you're burned out, or you're struggling, these problems will be waiting for you when you get home. This is why I recommend talking to somebody, and this is why I recommend BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy that fits into your life. You can talk with a licensed therapist by phone, video, or messaging from anywhere. No commuting, no sitting in a waiting room, just a safe place to process what's actually going on in your life. All of BetterHelp's therapists follow a strict code of conduct, and you can message your therapist and schedule sessions right in the app. If it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists anytime for no extra cost. Don't ignore what's coming to the surface. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop trying to escape and start dealing with your challenges. Go to BetterHelp.com/Ramsey to get 10% off. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Ramsey. All right, let's go out to the 806 Lubbock, Texas, and talk to Caleb. What's up, Caleb?
Hey, how's it going? This is Caleb.
What's up, man? How we doing?
Good.
So what's up?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that was my turn to start with the question. Yeah, I got a question for you. I work in safety for a big solar company out here. Well, they're nationwide, but I just happen to be in Texas. And my wife is starting. So she's in an internship for the same company. But she'll be starting a salary position here in probably the next 3 months, 2 to 3 months here. And it'll bring her a total income, which sounds crazy to say for at least me now, but a little over 200 and I think 10 or 15K after all of it's said and done, not including bonuses. And I'm 22 and she just turned 21. And we don't necessarily enjoy our job at all. I actually don't mind my job per se. I think the circumstances for my job I really don't enjoy, where I'm located, the travel, and everything like that. But I definitely don't enjoy where I'm at personally, and same thing with my wife. You know, she's going to be dealing with the same issues that I have, and we're trying to figure out if it's.
Is it the people or the tasks?
I'd say it's people. Yeah, I definitely say it's the people. It's not my favorite type of people. I mean, we're blue collar workers, you know, all at the end of the day. But in solar, it's kind of a funny thing. But it's kind of like bougie construction, building these solar farms out here. So not necessarily your typical blue collar workers. And I don't know if that's quite the environment for my wife long term as well, which is maybe also factoring into my concern here.
Okay, but hold on. Like I've lived out in your part of the country for half my life. Okay, so I know that area well, and I know there's some places where it's tough to be around some folks, and I know the aesthetic is pretty tough, and I know in the middle of the summer it's miserable. Right? There's a lot of hot. It's hot. The wind is blowing. Right? It's miserable out there. Right?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so I get that, and closer into city, it's a cool place to be, but also it comes with a lot of stuff. Here's what I want you to think about. You're 21 and 22. What would 3 years of y'all doing this hard job in your early 20s and living on like minimal, just deciding we're gonna the first couple of years of our marriage, we're just gonna go all in hard on this deal. And yes, there's going to be goofballs that we have to work with. It's going to be not beautiful out here all the time. It's going to be miserable when it gets hot in the summer. And we're going to set up our entire family lineage because we worked really hard when we were 22 and 23 and 24. I just think the whole follow your passion thing is one of the most nonsensical, moronic things. I don't want people to be miserable, and I never want someone to work in an unethical place. But I don't know, man. I look back at 20-year-olds and I'm like, dude, this is the season to work like crazy to set yourself up. Let me put it this way, brother. I'm living the life I have now, me and my family, based on working like a maniac in my 20s and early 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I
Yes, sir.
would agree with John. I think most of us in our 20s and even into our 30s did jobs that we knew were not the end game, and we knew we didn't like very much. The only difference is we weren't making
this kind of money.
Yeah, 200. So we were making $18 an hour or $12 an hour, whatever.
Yeah.
What baby step are you guys on?
I honestly have no idea. I don't know. My parents actually met Dave Ramsey like 25 years ago, and they've always raved Dave Ramsey. And I did the stupid college or teenager thing, and was like, "Oh, that's cool," but I'll never have to like really think about money.
Well, let's see if we can diagnose you.
Hold on. I don't know. How big is your truck?
Oh, I'm sitting in it right now. It's pretty big.
Is it a 250 or 350?
No, it's a 26 150.
Okay. A 26 150?
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice.
Oh my god.
Does it have payments?
Yes. No, it doesn't have payments. This is actually
wow.
This is from work.
Oh, it's a work truck.
I don't pay. No, it's a personal vehicle, and we have an option to buy it at the end of it, and it usually ranges about 10 to 12K with one of our fleets that we work with.
And so you bought it
it's a pretty sweet deal. No, it'll be at the end of the.
Okay, so what's this? What is so bad about your life?
Okay, so to throw a wrinkle in this, I probably should have stated this earlier. I'm living in Lubbock right now. We moved to Lubbock with my wife, but I work 2 hours away from Lubbock.
Wow.
So that to throw a wrinkle, we're not working in Lubbock. I leave at 4 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Every morning I don't get home till 7.
But when she gets done with her internship, are y'all going to move out there?
No, there's nothing out here. I don't know if I can say names on the show, but I'm next to a really big ranch in West Texas.
Yeah.
Actually, the 8th largest ranch. I don't know if I want to say
names.
Sure, yeah. Say names. So it's out here in the middle of nowhere. It's literally just this ranch and 2 small towns of 120 people, and there's no houses, there's no anything, no RV spots. We looked into everything. We exhausted every option.
So you're in the car 4 hours a day?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, 4 hours a day.
Oh no.
Okay, but there.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It is bad. That's a brutal
That's pretty
commute.
bad.
It's a brutal commute. But I also know there's other towns in between there.
No, I legitimately, if you look at the map where I'm at between Luck and Guthrie, Texas, there's nothing. There's Spur, which is about 20, 30 minutes closer, but there's no houses for rent in there. So,
bro, you're going to be making $210,000. Go write somebody a check for $78,000 for their home.
Well, let me ask this: can you do the same work someplace else? That's why I asked you earlier. Is it the people or is it the tasks? Are you able to do this type of work? Is it transferable?
Yes, with this company specifically, we're almost nationwide. They're here, I believe we're in like 26 states. My main issue is I just started this position where I'm at with all this money, which is why also I'm concerned because I've never been in charge of this much money.
Yeah. You don't feel like you could ask to transfer?
No, not this early on because of where we're at specifically. It's such a hard position to get people to come over here, our hourly people and our salary people. So basically, it's like you're locked in for the next 2 years here.
I won't lie. I won't lie. You have a tough 4 hours a day in the vehicle, and it's hot. That's very tough. Now, are you and your wife are doing this separate, or are you commuting together?
No, we commute together. So
at least you're together.
Yes. I also don't pay for gas. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm paying for all this stuff. I have a gas card.
So let's get back to your baby step right quick. Let's get back to your baby step right quick because that'll help us know if you really need to do this. Do you have any consumer debt?
Is that like credit cards?
Yes. Credit cards, student loan, cars.
I have no student loan. I have a car payment, which is going to sound so dumb, but I also have a Chevy Colorado, which I got right before starting this job.
What do you owe on it?
That I was going to need a truck. I owe $17K on it.
Okay. Anything else? Anything other than mortgage debt? Anything that you owe to anybody?
No, just I think I have like $500 on a credit card, and that's it.
Okay. And do you have any money saved? That's not retirement money.
I have, without looking actually into it, my actual savings only has $800 in there, but I don't transfer anything over from my checking account when I get paid to my savings account, so I don't know off the top of my head. I would assume with what's in my checking that won't come out this month. If that's how people do it, then it's probably close to 3 or 4K.
Okay, here before we hit the break, here's what I think is necessary. At the bare minimum, Before you can quit this job, you have to do 3 things for me. 4 things. Number 1, you have to have a budget. You have to budget your money, and you need to be budgeting your money for at least 3 months to see how much money you have and what it's going towards. So promise me that. Number 2, you need to pay off all of your debt. The $17,000, the $500. What if you sell it? I don't mind. If you pay it off, I really don't mind. But you need to get out of debt. And number 3, I want you to save up 6 months of expenses. And I'm going to add a 4th thing to the list. This is your 4th thing of homework. You and your wife need to have other jobs secured before you leave this job. And if you do those 4 things, I think that it's a smart way to exit. I would not come back to haunt you for that choice.
And I'll just tell you, right now, I can't remember what I was doing when I was 21, 22. And so if you think about 30-year-old you or 40-year-old you, that commute's going to be non-existent other than you and your wife got to spend a lot of time together. I still vote for 2 or 3 years of just sucking it up and making $1 jillion. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio. I'm John Delony, joined by Jade Warshaw. Let's go out to Savannah, Georgia, and talk to Robin. What's up, Robin?
Hey, how are y'all doing? Thanks for having me.
We're doing great. Thanks for calling in. What's going on?
All right, I am 45, and I want to go back to school to be a physician assistant, but the only school that offers it near me is private, and it's $136,000
per year or for the entire program?
For the entire program.
Okay.
2 years, two year program. And so I talked to my husband about it, and he thinks, well, he literally said, call Dave, see what Dave thinks. But he doesn't think that it's responsible.
What's the difference in cost between a non-private institution? What's a non-private cost?
The non-private, I think, is I called one and they said that it was $40,000, and I'm not sure. That has to be per year, because I looked up another school, and it was the school I did my bachelor's in, and it was $40,000 per year. So I think
80 total.
80,000.
The cost is all over the place. Yeah, usually it's about half.
Yeah,
60% to half.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but the non-private school is a 2-hour drive from me. And I would have to redo all of my prereqs.
So let's back out a little bit. Why PA? What about the medical profession do you want to get into?
Well, I love the independence of PA versus nursing, but I'm kind of having a midlife crisis, like I said. And so one of the things that I've been kind of looking at is what makes life feel meaningful to me. And I'm looking back at like high school years, and it's always been when I went overseas, when I was involved in some sort of missions work. And so I've been thinking what would be meaningful to me in the next part of my life is if I have the opportunity to be hands-on with third world country and make a difference in that way. But also it would have to be something that I could do here as a career sustainably and enjoy working.
So this is going to be a strange question, a strange next question. What about this idea? Had your husband, did your husband's first response be, that's not a good idea? Call Dave. Is it that he's seeing you struggling? Is it that he knows my wife faints every time she sees blood? Is it like, or is it we don't have the money? Like, what is it about that?
Spend $140,000 on my next phase, then that's $140,000 we don't have for whatever else.
Yeah, but that's a foolish argument because you're going to make a bunch of money being a PA.
Yeah, and what is whatever else?
Right?
What is whatever else?
Like retirement. We started a little bit late for retirement. So we only have probably, about $600 saved for retirement.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, y'all are going to be fine.
So you think that it would be?
Well, here's the deal. You have these feelings. You're having what you self-diagnosed as a midlife crisis. You're having a crisis of meaning. Like all that stuff. All that stuff is important and it's awesome and it's good. Let's move that aside for a second. What you have in front of you is a math problem. Do you have $136,000? Or over 2 years,
No.
do you have 70 grand and 70 grand?
Yeah, I mean, and my mom just passed recently, and she left like 80,000. So there's that. But we were gonna, give that to our son, give him a leg up. So that would be taking away from him.
I really think that I'm looking at this, and I think it's important that people do, to quote Ken, do the work they're wired to do. And I think it's important that you have a career that gives you meaning. And some people find that later in life. I also think your 40s is when you really start to be like, okay, like this is who I am and this is what I'm doing and this is the contribution I'm making. And then when you get into your 50s, like that's when you're really just kicking it, right? I think going back to the retirement, you have 600,000 there. If it's invested well, if it's making at least 10% in 7 years, it's going to double, and you're not going to stop contributing to it. You're going to keep contributing the 15%, right? No one is saying stop doing that. So you're going to be fine there, but you do have this money in front of you and you do have options. Some of them may be uncomfortable, but you do have the non-private option. And if you did that, then you'd have the cash to cover it through this inheritance. And nothing says that you can't continue to put some money away for your son. I think there's a way to tick all the boxes here, but there is going to be some level of sacrifice if you choose to do this. Whether it's, okay, we're not giving our son a lump sum of 80 grand like we thought, or I'm going to have to be in the car for 4 hours a day. That's different than I thought, right? There is going to be some give and take on this, but I do think that it's worth it to pursue the thing that you know in your guts you're supposed to do. Now, if you don't know in your guts that you're supposed to do this, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. Before I did anything, I would spend $3,500 and go as an assistant on a medical missions trip. Because what used to give me life was mowing. I could spend all day mowing people's lawns, mowing my lawn. I love it. Now, man, so if I look back at 18, 20, 25-year-old me, I was like, dude, you know what used to give me life? This. That used to be always my stock answer. If I won the lottery, no one would ever see me again, and I'd have a huge lawn business. I would not do that anymore, right? Because it used to give me life, and when I think back on those days, I romanticize them. It's not real anymore. So before I did anything, I would spend the money and go spend 10 days doing medical missions as an assistant, handing a surgeon gauze and doing whatever I need to do in a third world country and see, is this still what lights me up? And if it is, can you get that from coordinating medical missions? Can you get that from 50 other avenues before I go back to quasi-med school?
I love that.
Right?
Okay.
If you want to
that's
be
great.
a physician's assistant in the States, day in and day out, deal with managed care, deal with insurance companies, and help people day in and day out, and then a couple of times a year go overseas. If that's who you want to be for the back half of your life, then yeah, dude, you'll have the cash. It's a worthy investment, and you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul here. And we're going to give our son a leg up in other ways, right? But man, there seems to be a bunch of other steps before you're just like, you know what? I don't know. Let's put $140,000 in 2 years of my life down on the table. That just seems like a huge bet without knowing convincingly this is what I want to go do.
So step one, let's give you Ken's book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, and let's do the career assessment that's inside of that. And that's going to help you kind of put the pieces together. And then in the book, it's just a little short read. He walks you through what to do with the results. So I think that's thing one. Thing two is if everything still points to kind of this field-ish, then do exactly what John said and test it out in multiple areas. There's nothing that stops you from testing this before you invest any money into it. And so I think those two things are your homework that must be done first before you sink even a dime into this.
You work your butt off for your money, but your money's never going to return the favor if all you do is hope for the best. If you're ready to learn how to make your money work for you, check out the SmartVestor program. SmartVestor can help you find advisors who specialize in retirement planning, charitable giving, advanced investing strategies, and more. Whatever your goals, your pro will take the time to explain your options so you never have to invest in anything you don't understand. Head to RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor to get connected.
Ramsey Solutions is a paid, non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.
Our why refi. Nice talking,
Wow.
John. Listen, the words get stuck in the old mind sometimes. The why refi question of the day. Our question of the day is brought to you by Why Refi. When past due private student loans keep pulling you backwards, it's hard to focus on what's ahead. Why Refi helps borrowers with low fixed rate refinancing options that fit your budget so you can focus on the future again. Visit whyrefi.com/Ramsey. May not be available in all states.
All right. Today's question comes from Keith in Tennessee. He says, I found out today that my brick and mortar bank allows children with a joint account to get a debit card as young as 3 years old. Wow. I was mortified thinking of a preschooler walking around with a card in a world of marketing. Okay. At what age do you think it's appropriate to give a child a debit card? Keith, I think you're overthinking this. I mean, I'm just saying, obviously we're not giving a 3-year-old. I think a fair time is when they get their first job, because then they actually have a little bit of money to speak of. I think I got mine when I was 15 or 16 when I started working at Kroger bagging groceries, and my mom was on it. It had a checking and a debit card attached to it, checking and a savings, and I'm trying to think what else. I think there was, she could see the transactions I was doing, and it was just a great way to kind of like be connected on there. But yeah, I mean, what say you? 16, whenever they get their first job?
Yeah, I think when my son started working, he has it online, so it's a till account, but so we can transfer money back and forth. But now that he's in school, when he goes on school trips and things, it's easier just to make sure he's got eating money and stuff like that. But if somebody was to get a debit card and hand it to a first grader, that's madness. Like, right? And
there's no point.
No. Or a second grader or whatever with the debit card, there's no point to it. But yeah, I'm with you. I think when kids are getting their first job.
Yeah, you get your first job, then it teaches, I mean, you can do all the stuff together. It's like, okay, we go down to the bank together, we open up the account. Obviously, mom or dad is, listed on there just to be able to see what's going on. And then it's a great way you start teaching budgeting, you start teaching just that basic next steps in managing money. So
I'm so old, Jade. My dad, I remember it was a cool day we had, but he took me and got me my first savings account, but it had a checkbook attached to it.
Yeah.
But it's because I had a mowing business. And I think I was 10 or 11, but I had to ride my bike to the bank to deposit checks that I got from customers or to get cash out to do whatever me and my knuckleheaded friends wanted to do.
Isn't that so funny? George and I were talking about this on the previous show. Just checks in general is crazy work. The fact that it's a piece of paper that you just hand out to people that has your account and routing number on it.
Oh, well, now that it can all be done electronically, it is madness.
It's crazy. And the funny thing is there's this reel circulating on Instagrams and TikTok where it's, I guess, Gen Y. And they're like, if you can read what this says, you can have it. And when you write a check, it's like, if you write a check for $3,100.26, it says it's written out 3,000, and then it has 0 over 26 as the change. The kids don't know what that means. So no one can read the check. They're like, what is this? I don't know what it is.
I saw it was a website about 2 or 3 years ago that said like how to write a check. And it was a website for young adult men.
Learning
how to shave like your granddad and how to shine your leather shoes. But it was like how to write a check. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm old.
Yeah.
I still write 2 checks every month.
For what?
I deposit into an account for my kids and I write a check. And it's this is going to sound ridiculous. And I know this is nutty. It's I'll call it a spiritual discipline for me. I want to stop and pause and write this check that's going into an account for my kids that they don't know about.
Okay.
And it's a moment. And then I still, to this day, write my giving checks to my church on a check.
I can respect it,
And
John.
there's one guy that I hand them to, and he's like,
Brother Davis.
It's you. Yeah. He smiles and says, thanks, man.
Davis.
Or we'll put it in the box. But and let me tell you why. I sometimes will hand it to, but usually I give those checks to one of my kids to tell them to go put it in the box.
So they know mom and dad.
They can see, oh my gosh, Mom, what are y'all doing? Or Dad. And I remember a couple weeks ago, I leaned over, my daughter looked at the check and I said, she goes, Dad. And I said, remember, it's not our money. And she's like, oh yeah.
You want to know what, John? I'm so glad you said that. And Kelly, I'm taking a detour here because the people need to hear this. You know, I'm so glad you said that because I ran into something very similar in my life. So I think the way that the world is so digitized, it's harder to show your kids the things that you're doing so they can learn from it because everything's on our phone. So if we're doing something on our phone, they don't necessarily know that that's what we're doing. So case in point, you writing the check, if you had just gone on your phone and did the little, Apple Pay or Zelle, however they do it, they would have no idea that mom and dad are generous and this is a monthly rhythm or weekly rhythm that we have of generosity, right? So taking the time and doing it the manual way. Same thing with I don't know, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, like the Bible app on your phone. I'm like, you want to know what? Let me get back out this paper one. Yeah. Because my kids need to see me opening up these texts and seeing the text. That's what my mom used to do. So it's like, let us see it.
Jade, even in my house, like over the last couple of years, my wife has started reading more and more on her phone.
Uh-huh.
And because she used to have a Kindle, and now she can just get an ebook on her phone. I thought she was just texting and texting and texting all the time.
She's just doom scrolling.
I was like, hey, who are you texting? And she's like, I'm reading a book. And that, it affected me even. Your kids and the people around you are just going to see you staring at the screen. Yeah. And they're going to make up what you're doing on that screen.
Yeah.
So
get analog.
Yeah. I do. I still order checks. I'm probably one of 10 people.
You want to know? Recently, I ordered checks, and the reason was because of this place right here. I had forgotten one of the receipts I needed to turn in, and if you don't have the receipt, you got to pay for it.
I write a check to Ramsey every month.
And they were like, you got to write a check. I was like, a check?
Yep. And I write a check to Ramsey every month because I always lose my receipts when I'm out on the road. Every time. Let's go to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and talk to Jane. Jane, we're right up against the clock, so jump right into your question.
Okay, thanks for taking my call, guys.
You got it.
So I am looking for what Dave Ramsey calls wise counsel.
You got it.
I think it's an iceberg question, not an icebreaker, an iceberg question. So I'm 43 years old. I have $35,250 in debt. That debt is exclusively what Dave also lovingly refers to as stupid tax. I have no mortgage. I paid off my home. I've got a 18-year-old about to start college, but she already has her associates. I am wondering, since I'm doing this out of order, what is the best way to pay this off? Do I continue to tackle this monthly, or do I just cash out some investments that some of it taps into a little bit of retirement? Or I'm not sure exactly what the right path is. So I'll pause there and let you guys talk, and then we can go on from there.
I just want to make sure I wrote down the amount of debt correct. Did you say 33 or 35?
$35,250.
$35,000. And you did say you're out of order, so you've got no mortgage. I think that's a great thing. Do you have any money saved, any cash money?
Yep. So my net worth, even with this $35,000, is a little over $700,000. But all of that's in retirement, except for I do have some in a brokerage and I have some in a high yield savings.
Okay. Tell me what's in the high yield savings.
I've got $12,000 there.
Okay. And tell me what's in the brokerage.
Brokerage is $16,000.
Okay, I think there's your debt payoff money right there.
How much do you make every month?
Okay.
What's your monthly take home?
A lot. So the reason that this is an iceberg question is because job situation. I am not sure how long I will have it. My daughter has been, I have been working over 80 hours or 90 hours a week for over a year. My daughter is tired of it. I'm tired of it. And where I live currently, the market is not very good.
So
but all of this is all of this that you're saying is reason to get this under control and get this debt paid off, because when you don't have payments, suddenly you have options and you don't have to work jobs that you don't have to work, and you don't have to stay in situations that feel unsafe for you or unsustainable for you. So I would reach over and I would pay off this debt, and then I would stack up 3 to 6 months of expenses in the meantime. And then if you have to transition jobs, you're in the perfect situation to do that.
Hey guys, Rachel Cruz here, and I love summer. There is more fun on the calendar, more time with your people, and way more chances to make memories. But you know what else there's more of? Spending. Oh, between the extra groceries and gas and camp fees and family trips, it all starts to add up so fast. And before you know it, money stress starts to steal the fun out of everything. And that is why I love the EveryDollar budget app, because it helps you plan your money, track your spending, and find more margin in your budget so that you can put extra cash towards the goals that matter most. Enjoy your summer without the money stress. Download the EveryDollar app in the App Store or Google Play and start for free today.
We're taking your calls live, 888-825-5225. Let's go out to Indianapolis and talk to Veronica. Hey, Veronica, what's up?
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you guys? I'm good.
Excellent. We're doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So I just had a question. So my boyfriend and I are looking to combine our finances. When we get married, I am debt-free except for my home mortgage. My boyfriend makes a little over 6 figures, but he does have $50,000 in student loans, in addition to his car payments. So I own my own home, and he owns his own separate home. He thinks once we're married, we should tackle his loans together, and wants to get my house put in both of our names. But I would like to keep my home, pay off my mortgage, and just kind of have him finish off paying off those loans before we get married. So how would you advise us to structure this?
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like he wants to get married now.
I'm thinking probably in the next year and a half or so, we'll get engaged.
Well, let me put it this way. When you get married, your stuff and his stuff becomes y'all's stuff.
Yes, I'm thinking maybe if we move in together, we would just be engaged and have a long engagement. So then I would be able just to pay off my mortgage, and then he would live in the home but could pay off utilities.
I think you guys are making it too complex. I think we can make this really simple and clean. Do you want to hear what I'm thinking?
Okay.
I think the simplest, cleanest way to do this is until you're married, you have your things, your money, and your residence, and he has his things, his money, and his residence. And then when you guys get married, wherever you guys are at the point of marriage, everything combines. So if your home is paid off by then, it's our house. And yeah, you could add him to the deed. I
think you should add him to the deed.
Yeah.
It's y'all's stuff.
And even if it's not finished paid off, yeah, you still add him to the deed because it's yours and it's ours together. And then if he still has a little bit of debt left, that's ours together, and we'll combine our money and pay it off together. But I think it starts getting complex when you start doing unit things, but you're not a unit.
So, if we were to be engaged, would you guys advise that he move into my home? Because at that point, we're not married. We're just about to get married, and then just have him aggressively try to pay off those loans while we're engaged?
I wouldn't, because engagement is I intend to be a unit, but I'm still not a unit yet. So let the intention period play itself out, because there's a reason that it's there. Let it play itself out until the intention is actually realized and, oh, we are a unit. And then, because if for some strange reason, because it happens every day and I would never, project that onto you, but if some reason, one of three things that could take place. Number one is you start living together, you decide we don't really like each other that much, and you've already got everything tangled up and mingled up. And then it's like, oh man, that sucks. And then number two, what happens all the time is it kind of just gets comfortable. And before you know it, it's like, I thought we were getting married, but somebody just gets comfortable with this intention to marry situation and they just want to stay there. And then you end up calling me 5 years later wondering, how do I get this guy to budge? Or vice versa. Maybe he calls and says, how do I get this girl to budge? And you've already commingled everything up together, and it's just a kind of a web there. Or the third thing happens, which is somebody starts to be codependent on the other. And it's like, I don't even know that I really want to be with this person, but we're all commingled together and my income is based on hers and she's already paid off some of my debt. So I kind of feel like I owe it to her. It gets messy. You're the expert on this, John.
The question, all three of those things are excellent. And I'll tell you, I just finished a 2-year marriage project that ended up in a marriage book that I hadn't super intended to write, but I'm proud of it, and it'll be coming out next year. One of the data points that surprised me the most was everything from life satisfaction to net worth to amount of sex to health outcomes, even between the difference between cohabitating couples and married couples. And my wife and I I've talked openly. Today's our 24th anniversary. We've been ride or die for almost a quarter century. That's today.
Wow,
but
congrats.
Thank you. But there's been seasons where we're only married because of what a pain it would have been to go to the courthouse and unwind everything.
I know that's right.
And so here's why that's important. Even people will tell you in Hollywood, well, that means the relationship's over. No, that means there was a hurdle that we both put up to protect us from ourselves sometimes. And that's a good thing, right? So my bigger concern for you is if you're not ready for your stuff to be y'all's stuff, then just be his girlfriend and pause the marriage talk for a while.
Okay.
Because if your identity as a homeowner is more important to you than your identity as a wife and a co-creator of an amazing future with another person, where y'all are creating a singular future for y'all, it's gonna have two independent people in it merging over time. But if your identity is more, I'm a homeowner, I'm a boss, I do my thing. That's awesome. You get to pick that. But don't try to do that and get married too. Because it's going to be you getting in a boat that is your marriage, but you're going to have one foot in your other life. And it's a recipe for getting yourself hurt, for getting him hurt, and y'all ending up in drifting into two different oceans, right?
So are you saying, like, if we were to get engaged, to still live apart?
I would, because
you
don't have the legal protection to unwind the relationship if something goes sideways. And again, like Jade said, I don't want to wish that on you, but Jade and I only have jobs because people's plans don't work out.
Yeah. And I'd also ask, what's the rush? Why do you feel that you need to do that so quickly?
I guess, like, I just wanted to be completely in debt before we, like, intertwine our lives together, just to put us in, like, the best financial position to hopefully buy, like, a future home together in cash. I mean, we both have homes of our own that I know we're going to appraise. And so I guess, like, the bigger picture would be to, since I am on baby step 6, to be able to buy, like, my next home together with him in cash.
Okay, but here's all that matters. That means let's get married tomorrow, and I'm going to help you, and together we're going to pay your stupid student loans off so fast. And then we're both going to sell our homes and buy this other house. Like, or I'm just going to sit here and wait on you to pay off your $50,000, delaying like this future house that we want to buy together. The end date may still be the same, or you may be able to accelerate it if y'all get married and work together. But it almost sounds like you want to, like, you did this, and so you clean up your mess, and when your mess is cleaned up, then you can join me. Is that part of it?
If it is, it's okay to say that.
I mean, I just feel like I worked like really hard to where, I'm at financially. It took me a really long time to be able to get to baby step 6. I put 25% down on my home. And so, I've been picking up extra days at work. But I also know how hard he works. He also picks up extra days, weekends.
So you can look at it. You can look at it two ways. You can look at it. I did all of this, and so until you bring yourself up to my level, I'm not gonna engage in this future thinking with you and this future action steps with you. Or you can say, thank God I worked so hard, so that when we join, all we have to do is get over this $50,000 hurdle together, and then we are off to the races.
Okay.
If you view yourself in like a lifeguard stand at a swimming pool, looking down at him swimming and thinking, when you climb up here, then you'll be up here with me. I'll tell you right now, your relationship isn't as on the same footing. But if you climb down off that stand and you pull him out of the water and y'all climb up together, man, y'all can accomplish anything.
And if you take that same way of thinking and you transfer it out of money into other areas of life, where spiritually, when they get where I am, or, relationally, where they get where I am, you start to realize that it's not really a wonderful way of thinking.
It's two imperfect people trying their best to create a pretty amazing life together.
The problem with online investing advice, you hear so many different opinions and you're left wondering if you're even doing it right. And that's why we created Investing Essentials. Join me and Dave Ramsey at this 2-night virtual event to learn Dave's playbook for investing and wealth planning. We'll break down 401ks, mutual funds, passing on wealth, and more. So join us September 1st and 2nd. Tickets start at $199. You can get yours today at ramseysolutions.com/events, or just click the link in the show notes.
Today's scripture of the day is Luke 12:15. And he went on to say to them all, watch out and guard yourselves from every kind of greed, because your true life is not made up of the things you own, no matter how rich you may be. Nathan W. Morris says, edit your life ruthlessly and frequently. It's your masterpiece after all.
Love that.
Let's go out to Dallas, Texas, and talk to Ross. Ross, I need to let you in here. There we go. What's up, Ross?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great, brother.
Good to meet you guys. Good to hear you guys. Yeah, great. Thank you. I have a quick question about a Roth IRA, like an IRA account. I'm a freelance musician, and I'm poised to make like a decent amount of money for the first time after a few years of not making a ton, and I'm just trying to set myself up for retirement. And I'm kind of confused on like which type of retirement account to open, Roth IRA versus traditional.
I love that you're asking that question. Is it the first thing I want to find out is if it's time for you to start investing, if it makes sense for you to start that path yet, because there's kind of a good, better, and best way to look at this. And so we found over time that the best time to start investing so that the money can actually stay invested and you don't end up pulling it out for an emergency or anything like that is after you've paid off your debt and after you've stacked up 3 to 6 months of expenses. Have you done those things?
We are currently paying off student loan debt and a little bit of credit card debt.
Okay. How much do you have left to go?
We got about $38,000 in student loan debt and about $2,000 or $3,000, I think, in credit card debt.
Okay. $2,000 to $3,000. And how old are you?
Started doing the baby steps recently.
Oh, good.
I just turned 31.
Okay, great. So what I would advise, and I'm going to tell you the answer to your question, but I would advise for you to pay off the student loans and the credit cards, stack them smallest to largest and pay minimums on all of it, but put any and all extra money that you have to that smallest, it's probably a credit card right now, unless you have the student loans broken up into smaller pieces. But whatever the smallest debt is, that's the one that you attack first. And the reason for that is it's going to allow you to invest an amount that really is going to move the needle for you. Because ideally, we want you investing 15% of your gross income. That's where we want you. And if you can do that, that's the magic number that we have found that over time, if you do that, it really is going to build wealth for you and your family. And it's going to set you up for retirement in a major way. So that's kind of the underlying thing there. And then the second part of that is now we want you to save up 3 to 6 months of expenses, because that's your emergency fund. That's kind of your insurance policy against debt in the future. If you've got, let's spitball, what would you say is 6 months of expenses for you?
It's probably about $12,000.
So if you had $12,000 just sitting in a bank, I mean, what would you really need to go into debt for, right? The car could break down. You could do a roof repair. You could do a new AC
Hold on,
unit.
it depends on what kind of guitar he needs. What kind of musician are you?
I'm a classical musician.
Oh, so
he's got like an upright bass.
Yeah, or a violin. Like those violins can get real expensive.
Yeah. What do you play, by the way?
I play the trombone.
Love that.
How much does like a good OG trombone cost?
Mine costs about $4,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got enough money. 12 grand really is like, if you're saying that that's 6 months of expenses, that's super good. So now you have that money there. If anything pops up, you don't need to use a credit card. You don't need to go back into debt. So that's kind of your buffer against going back into debt. And then from there on, you're investing 15% of your gross. So whenever you get that check, 15% of the gross amount goes straight over into a Roth IRA. And I would suggest Roth because that's one where we're paying the taxes up front. That's really one of the biggest differences. Traditional, you pay the tax when you pull the money out in retirement, and Roth, you pay the taxes up front so that later in retirement, you don't have to pay the taxes and the money is also growing tax-free, which is so important, not just for you, but for your heirs, because the goal is you're going to keep investing. That money's going to keep stacking up. And at some point, you're going to leave this earth and that money, whatever was left, is going to transfer you to your heirs. And guess what? They're not going to have to pay taxes on it either because the bill's already been footed. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So that's kind of the nuts and bolts on it.
Can I celebrate you as a musician thinking about this?
Yeah, so good.
I hang out with a lot of musicians, and I've never had the IRA conversation before. So good on you, brother.
It's very, very good.
That's impressive. You know
Appreciate
what? It's because I hang out with punk rock musicians, and he's a classical musician. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
More thoughtful. I don't know.
Hey, listen, the right insurance acts as a shield around your loved ones and your wallet if and when disaster strikes. Our free insurance coverage checkup helps you figure out if you have the right coverage by giving you a personalized action plan with clear next steps. Go to RamseySolution.com/checkup to take the coverage checkup and find out if you have the protection you need. Let's go out to Louisville, Kentucky, and take one more call. Let's talk to Andrew. Hey, Andrew, what's up?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, brother. What's going on?
I recently graduated from nurse anesthesia school, and this is the end of an 11-year process for me. And now I'm at the point where I'm trying to put away as much money as possible and also, get my mortgage payment down. I'm very lucky to have no student loans, and I'm really trying to see if I'm being a little too aggressive with it because I've been picking up a lot of overtime to try to make this, my current plan work.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
29. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
So you're just cruising and crushing all by yourself?
Yep, cruising and crushing. It's been a good 6 months since I got out of school.
Congrats on that degree.
Congrats,
really,
man.
really good.
Well, thank you.
And how'd you do it with no student loans?
I was very, very fortunate. My mom and dad helped with my bachelor degree and my master degree, and I was a travel nurse for 2 years, which allowed me to save up enough to pay for my graduate or my doctorate program.
All right, so hold on. I want you to change your story up a little bit, okay? And then we'll get to the answer of your question. Yes, you were fortunate and you had some help along the way. But unlike me, when I got my first big boy job, you made a choice. and that was to save money because you had a different vision for your life down the road, and it allowed you to cash flow a really critically important credentialing and education that now has changed your future in a pretty dramatic way. So yes, you were pretty fortunate and you got some support, but you also you made some pretty important choices on your own, and I'm proud of you for that, dude. That's good.
So
well, thank you.
So how aggressive are you? I mean, you're like, am I going too ham? Let's decide. How much are you putting aside, like percentage wise, for retirement, and how much are you saving towards your mortgage?
So my mortgage currently is a 5.49%. It's a $3,100 a month mortgage, and I'm paying $6,100 every month towards that.
Okay.
Through retirement funds, my employer contributes 8.5% of my monthly take-home pay. So that ends up being around $2,500 that they contribute. I also max out my 403B and my 457, so that is right around $2,500 each. And then through a brokerage account, I'm putting a little over $1,000. So total, right around $8,500 a month I'm putting away.
What percentage of your take-home is that? Or of your gross?
My take-home, if I don't work any overtime, would be $17,000 a month. With the overtime I've been working, that can be anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000 a month.
Okay, so here's what
I'm putting away a good amount.
You are. Here's what I would suggest. I would suggest capping for the time being. I would suggest bringing your investing to 15%. So 15% of your gross, okay, not of your take home, 15% of your gross. And that's a great place to start. You're going to build plenty of wealth like that. And then whatever's left, if you want to be aggressive about paying off your mortgage, you can do that. Now, the question is how aggressive, because we do want you to enjoy life a little bit.
Go on some dates, dude.
Spent 11 years in
go to some games,
school.
Go have some fun, get some friends, go bowling or trivia nights and stuff.
You're
man.
29. You have so much time. I mean, this is the time.
Here's a question I want you to ask, okay? We're going to run out of time here. What kind of life do you want to have? And you've worked so hard to give yourself tons of options. I want you to have some joy in your life. Remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. This has been The Ramsey Show. Thanks for joining us.